The barkeep at the space station trade hub tavern eyed the human in the corner carefully. The human never drank, had a thing for deep-fried pickle slices, always tipped well, and was honestly a regular fixture in this establishment of late. He wondered what was on the human's mind so often, what had him lost, out of focus, so very often. Just then a drunken demiurge stumbled in, cheeks red with fury, and levelled wild and glazed eyes on the human. "You dirty scum and sleaze waste of rum out the arsehole human!" He stumbled like a clumsy avalanche towards the corner the human was sitting in. "I don't know how you did it, but you scammed me, robbed me of me riches. Why, I'm gonna..." The squat, muscular space miner was lifted off the ground mid-step. The monstrous Krork bouncer Grok got an approving nod from the barkeep.
Now, little fella. There's no scragging allowed in here. Boss says so, and he is the boss, so he's right."
The demiurge waddled and swung all his limbs impotently for a moment, then relaxed and struggled to calm down. All right. Put me down. This is embarrassing. I just want to talk to this human about this science magic he did. How he did it. How much of it was even real. That caught the attention from a lot of beings in the tavern, including the barkeep. Magic, the dwarf had said. There were rumours going about, rumours that made it to his particular corner of the galaxy now, about their magic. Newly rediscovered in their technological science. "Did you say magic?" An Eldar aristocrat spoke from the VIP booth. "Tell me, Sir Demiurge, was it real?" "That's the problem. I cannot tell if any of it was actually real, much less prove it. For all I know, it was all just a scam, a fraud." "Oh, how very interesting." The aristocrat eyed the human with more than a little "you sly secret revealer" tilt to his eyebrows. "May I sit in on your discussion? I would like to know more of this human's science magic." The human shook his head, clearing his faraway gaze. Oh, look, Brocky, you said you couldn't tell. But that's the problem. You did tell. And poof, the spell was broken. I did warn you. And with that, the aristocrat was fully fascinated. "Well, now I simply must attend. Please, gentle beings, come to my VIP booth for some valued privacy. My treat." With that, the miner's mouth started watering, and the human got up, keeping his distance from the angry miner, and they all sat at the booth, and the privacy field was engaged, to the moans of the other very interested patrons in the bar. This was the most excitement they had seen in months. My, so the humans have rediscovered magic of old, have they? The aristocrat said with a slithery fey delight. "Pfft, more like a deal with the devil," the miner said bitterly. "Look, I told you the condition of the spell. It was all very formal, if you recall. But remind me, which spell was it?" Well, now what does it even matter which spell it was? For all I know, it was always there to begin with. But then it wasn't. The aristocrat's eyebrows rose as he watched the conversation. "It matters more than you seem to think it does which spell was revealed, because that is what you did. You revealed it. And poof, spell is broken. But remind me, there have been so many, please." The miner grumbled into his armor gorget and growled through his teeth. "I was mining a planetoid for Mineral X, as you wanted me to refer to it, because you didn't want to know its name, but I couldn't find any veins of it anywhere, and came to you for help." The aristocrat's head twitched, and a confusion crossed his eyes. This was not old fey magic at all. This was something else. "You cast your spell ritual thing, and told me to turn my mining rig to the left, 33.141 degrees to the left, and go for a quarter kilometre." The aristocrat was now deeply interested, and leaned in intently. "So I did that, and wouldn't you know it, struck the vein of Mineral X. The mother lode. I could pay off all my debts and retire with that cargo haul. So I started wondering if that vein of ore was always there, or if the human magic made it, and I started second guessing everything." The human nodded. "Yes, now I recall. You struck the one and only vein of that material anywhere, even on that planetoid, as far as anyone would have known. But remember, I said not to tell anyone about the spell. You told someone, didn't you? Well, it was driving me nuts, just circling round in my head. So I asked my co-pilot if he thought the mineral was always there or not, and he asked me what I meant. The moment I mentioned the human spell, the ship lurched, and I checked my cargo hold, and it was just stone, junk rock all of a sudden. The aristocrat plopped back in his lounge sofa, stunned. So you see, it was a scam, a trick, some kind of mind talk, some illusion or something. I was robbed of me riches. The aristocrat steepled his fingers, eyeing the closed-lipped human intently. No, I don't think it was. I'm sorry, Brocky, was it? But by all accounts you broke the spell and it was unmade. But that's the damnable part of it all. As far as anyone could tell, the vein was never there. Even my ship's cargo logs show I had mined and unloaded a bunch of stone. But now you're both indicating that if I'd have just kept my mouth shut, as far as everyone knew, the ore vein was always just there to begin with, and I'd have been rich. The human nodded. Yep, you're leaning towards getting to how it works. Still a way off though. The aristocrat was visibly excited, and wanted to be alone with the human. Friend Brocky, allow me to compensate for your perceived losses. I can afford it, and do so desperately desire some alone time with our friend human here. The miner's eyes glittered with surprised greed at this windfall, and quickly agreed, made the transaction on his bracer tablet, and hurriedly bowed out to the VIP booth, racing away before anyone changed their mind. So, this human science magic sounds very subversive and very powerful, with its apparent reality redacting. So, is it a demonic pact? It is a fool's game to ever deal with. No, nothing demonic. They don't treat with us anymore. Our rules lawyers have crushed their will to entice, utterly. Then where does the power emerge? I don't understand. Uncertainty, purposeful lack of verififity, with a carefully arranged nudge. Verififity? That's not a word. It is now, buddy. Very important part of the whole system. What can I offer for you to tell me all about it? Do you need a patron? Someone to sponsor you to the upper tier of the trade hub, where the air is fresh and the water is actually drinkable? You know, I always have kind of wished. I would gladly sponsor you, on the condition you tell me how it works. Not the specifics, just the meta level of mechanism. We held our eternal. We do need something to pass the time. The human tapped his chin as if thinking about it, then nodded and leaned forward conspiratorially. A big part of it is seeming like it was a scam the whole time. But that's so distasteful. It's an ill reputation known galaxy-wide. But it is essential that such trickery is so well known. That's a big part of the point of it all. Oh, Nope, I don't get it. Look, for example, the miner kept wondering if the finding of the unlikely ore of his heart's desire was something I conjured up, or if it was just always there anyways. And if he had just pressed on his own, he would have found it anyway. As far as he could tell, that ore was there for billions of years just waiting, and what reinforced that notion, and to everyone else who was watching, it was much more likely that my human spell nonsense was a scam anyway. Yes, belief in discarded assumption are one thing in base stage trickery, but even the universe itself thinks that. I suppose so, but wait, what? See, the universe never does math, cannot follow up on anything. We do. A conscious mind perceives the universe. There's a way of leveraging that. Now granted, our science magic could never successfully turn a silver coin into a gold coin right in front of everyone, but what's interesting is, the only thing preventing it is that one jerk in the crowd denying it. The universe, it turns out, even in particle physics, relies heavily on that one jerk, fact-checking to keep everything running fine-tuned. Interesting. So how do you arrange for no deniers? My spells are by design uncheckable. Sure, that left edge of the planetoid has heart's desire ore in it, because I said so. Good luck trying to prove otherwise. And when it was actually found there, what luck? Who's to say it wasn't always there? I suppose nobody. Oh, wow. Presto chango. The universe shrugs and edits it in, not knowing or suspecting anything different or suspicious. It could not have been the city spell, because the miner never even told me what ore he wanted. But his heart's desire was broadcasting. Yep, it's like the blade that never needs sharpening, a ship that never needed maintenance, a rebreather catalyst that never depletes. Sure, it's likely all those things were possible on their own, and what's to say otherwise? No one is cataloguing to see that they were all owned by one person. I suppose there is the guy that wanted those things. Exactly. Thus the ceremony of the spell. Lots of incense, chanting, the finger kung fu. All distractions, not just for us, but the human pointed up in a vague circle. I had the miner write his heart's desire onto the flame paper, then seal it with elaborate wax seals and exotic stamp, then immediately toss it into the incinerator cauldron, where I never even touched it. Poof. Gone. Then I told that thick-headed demiurge part of this spell is you never tell anyone about it, not anyone at all, and collected my fee. But wait, part of that fellow's rage was his cargo turning back into stone, and the reverse hacking of his ship's manifests. That's some serious magic. The only way to tell if it was magic is to do just that. Tell someone. I didn't do any of that. Think of the universe realizing, wait, what? And it retro-edited itself. Very much like the double-slit, delayed choice Copenhagen interpretation thing. The universe is very capable of cooking its books and changing the past for the sake of consistency. Turns out we decide if Schrodinger's cat is alive or not. The aristocrat sat numbly for a moment, his mind whirling around in bewildering thoughts. This would indeed occupy him for centuries. My, so it's all about belief, with no detractors. A form of faith. Why, much absolute power could be gained from making such a thing into a religion. The human slammed his palm on the table, startling the aristocrat. Whoa, now you need to stop that train of thought right there. That's all we need is for the Inquisitors to barge in and start breaking kneecaps. Yes, you are quite correct. Well, my human friend, you've certainly gifted me with a lot to dwell. Shall we even start working on your sponsor license? The human kept from locking eyes on the aristocrat. That would be much appreciated. Well worth the chat. The ancient and experienced Eldar caught the gesture. Wait a second, was this getting me to sponsor you into the upper hab levels one of your spells? As far as anyone would know, it would have happened anyway. The Eldar's eyes narrowed, but his lips were sliding into a wry grin. And if it was, I certainly would never tell. Read by a good bean.